indirectly speak of was beginning to feel as if I was the one that was speaking of something that would concern me. Once we get down to London, that's I got upset, and I even said twice occasion I wanted to leave. I wanted to leave before even the end of the 3 days, because I knew that the place I was causing them, was giving them the room for them to do whatever it was happening. Now it could be some spirit thing that was entering me, was going inside me, or whatever it is. And I knew that something wasn't right. I could feel it. I could tell them. And I had to directly speak to them and confront them. Like, what is it that they are doing to me? They should stop it. Like passing the spirit on to me or something. But it didn't work. It's not something that it was going to be easy, because I don't just give in to anything. I don't just fall for anything. Despite what has happened to me, and I drew myself out from the group very much. I was into my socializing. Even I never socialized in the first place with them very much. I wasn't even much observing them most of the time. And when we got to London and we got off, some of the comments that one of them said was, I stood with another Ghanaian fellow, was another person is going to die. Now, whether I was the one who was going to die, I don't know. He just said it. He's a Nigerian guy who made that comment and walked away. But he's also an assistant pastor to the Pastor Owen. I just don't remember his name. And he walked away. And he asked the colleague I was standing with to meet them at the place. Whatever the place was, I don't know. But I asked the guy, and he was saying, there's a place that we normally have our meeting. And I know I've been to one of the places, they have a meeting on the office, but I wasn't thinking that was it. I was really suspicious of what they were saying, but I didn't go into you can't force people or a horse to sort of drink water if he doesn't want to. But this guy was giving me a lift, and that comment got into my head. I was thinking about it, but he gave me a lift because when we got off from the trip, his wife or girlfriend came to take him with the car. So he said he's driving close to my place and he would give me a lift. That was very good. I went with him, and I've lost a job at that time. I had no job at that time, and I was trying to go through this and come and see what God will do for me, or what my chances are. And from there, this chap dropped me at a place for me closer to the home. First, he dropped me somewhere else before. Well, he decided, he changed his mind and came to pick me again, to take me a little bit closer, because he realized that he was more closer to me from where I'm going, so we could go further. The place he dropped me first, we called our the Elephant and Castle in London, and this place is quite it's mild, like a big runabout area, a very popular area with all the big stations and all that, And when he dropped me, I went to an experience of seeing the same raggy people, but this time they were more females in nature, not well dressed, like some people, street people, that kind of raggy looking people. They were all surrounding me, and I couldn't even stand on my feet. That is where I started to feel that my feet was gone. I couldn't stand. I was going down virtually. And some guy was across the street. I was looking at this guy. It was a white guy, complete white guy, standing on the street about almost 6 feet tall. I was looking at this guy, and my focus on this guy kept me standing. But virtually I knew I was going down the ground. I was just falling away. And this guy, all of a sudden, I think he crossed the street, came over and stood by me at the station where the buses had to stop, or where the guy dropped me, holding my briefcase. And not too long, this guy drove around the roundabout, came back and said, "Oh, I think you can come along. I'm going closer." I said, "Really?" I said, "Okay." And then he picked me, took the bag, and I was grateful that he took me. I don't know what would have happened there, whether I would catch the bus or something was going to happen, because I was virtually drowning, like being in a sea or ocean and being drowned, because my feet could not stand. I couldn't feel my feet. As those raggy people standing around me, I didn't know where they came from or where they have come from, and they were just all over me. And this guy was standing over my head, was just standing there, and I was I focused on him, and it's like I was okay. I thought I was standing on my feet, but still, I'm not sure. It was in between. So when he picked me, that was it. I sat in the car. I felt myself again, and he took me all the way closer, very close. In fact, where he took me was just about it would be just about 200 meters to get to the house that I was in, or to the residence that I was in at that time. That's Bermondsey areas in London. And I got off and went, I felt some strength in me at that time. When we get there wasn't any much of those feelings or experiences I was going through. And I drove my back, there's a wheel under it. So I just wheeled it all the way to my residence, and was wondering what is going to be sleeping, but I did put my head down. And in sleeping, that's where the dreams and the experience of another loud voice. This time the voice spoke while it goes away. It spoke, and then the echo reflect that it was just going away. It was moving away like that, and it was very scary. I heard my phone ring. I took the phone. And when I took that phone, immediately, the voice could not speak, but it was breathing very loud, breathing strong, breath coming out, and the sound of the background of the call, from the other end of the call, I could hear like an ocean sound of waves, and this person would breathe in, it's hard and very hard and strong breath breathing. And it happened, I think, twice or thrice. And it became very frightening. I put the phone down. I said, I'm not gonna pick this phone. Who the hell is that calling and not talking? And I got frightened by that. I walked out of the room. I just ran out of the house and went out of the room. And I was all over the street. It was very late at night, cold, but I couldn't even feel the cold. Except one white guy who was standing in that area with his very completely, with no shirt on. He was standing there with that cold weather. I was looking at this guy, and he was looking at me going, with my frustrated head, shaking my head, and I was just going. I said, wow, what's happening to me? I didn't know where I was going. I don't know whether I returned or I don't know. I'm not sure, but I just ran out of the house like that. It was quite an experience, something really to remember. And I do remember it. At least I remember most of it, the most important part of things. And that passed away, and I had to end up realizing, now I need to go back. Where am I going? And I went back to the house, and I decided to sleep, but I put the lights on so I could sleep. I stayed in that place, the room till the morning. I shared a room with other people as well. But all the visions and the dreams was very weird, It's almost like I was fighting spiritually with people. My soul was not resting. I was very much here and there, confused and hearing things in the head. My head was echoing with words and all that. It didn't stop. It continued for quite some time. I decided, and the whole thing, I was at the same time looking for jobs, so I was in between, going through this experience, looking for job, trying to be able to do that to settle the bills and the residence I live. I need to pay for my bills because I didn't own that place, and it was quite an experience. And from there, I had to travel even to Lincoln, stay in Lincoln for a while just for the sake of job. And I got a job for about 2 or 3 days, 4 days. I couldn't do it because it was still weird. The people were acting weird. I was seeing people in a weird way. So I came back to London, and it was even worse. Right there in London, I could see everything has changed. The whole London city has become red. It's like when the sun is settling down. When you see the sun settle down, you see the weather and the whole atmosphere, the change of color. It becomes so red, some sort of orange, deep orange color, all over. Everything was like in my eyes. I said, wow, what's happening here? And it's almost like people were following me. That's what I felt. People were following me.